Hi, darling Suzy. This is for you. We're going to have a look at your musical guitar. And I've got quite a few things to show you. I'm going to keep it fun as much as I can. And I'm kind of looking at you for the first time too, because when I do this for my friends, I'm not quite as professional, but it doesn't mean it's any different. It just means that I just go live, and that's how I can have the time to fit in readings from my Facebook friends and always people around me too. So I think I'm going to have to give you a few explanations because I don't know how much you know about astrology. I'm doing side reel. We're going to have a look at you here, and we're going to go and have a look at you on Stellarium as well. But before we go to Stellarium, because this is never 100% correct, so we'll be checking where all the planets are really at the moment you were born before we come back here. But just to explain a few basic things which are very important to know is that you've got your 4 elements. So we've got fire, the reds, we've got water, the blue, we've got air, this orange, and we've got earth, this green. So there are 4 elements and there are 3 signs in each element. The wheel is like a clock. So you are born, you say, at 7 a.m. Here we've got you as Virgo. So we'll check that when we go. But this means that if you are Virgo, you might just, what do they say, 25 degrees Virgo. Yeah, it may have just be Libra, but we'll see. But anyway, if it is Virgo, that means that this is the horizon, this is the solstice, the midheaven here, this is the cross, and that would mean that you were born on the mutable cross. And that would also mean that for the month that you were born, the sun rose every morning on the horizon in your sign, Virgo. So this shows that you were born the morning. That's why you also would have a rising the same as your sign. So you have got the wheel on the mutable cross. You are on the mutable cross. So there are 3 crosses within the 12 wheel. The mutable cross is Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, and Sagittarius. So you've got absolutely your midheaven and your horizontal line on the mutable cross. All the mutable signs are adapts. They are slightly bipolar. We are the transmuters. We're finishing this age of binary duality of Pisces, and we're going to be moving into Aquarius, which is the fixed gang. So we've got mutable cross and we've got the fixed cross. So Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio, and this is where we have the famous 4 musketeers, the 4 fixed stars. But these wheels, they only ever give us, as in the Freemason lodges, they give us the south, the feet of Jesus, Regulus. They give us the west, but they always tell us, they've inverted it all. They tell us that Solomon's seal, Leo and Cancer, are at the top of the wheel, when actually Capricorn and Aquarius are at the top of the wheel. And Antares, they tell us, is west, and they tell us that Aldebaran is east, but it's all inverted, and they never give us the true north, where we're going now, in Fomalhaut, which is here. So that's D'Artagnan, that's Elon Musk, this is our third eye. And they tell us we're going into Aquarius, but they don't tell us that we're going into the Twin Peaks, because we're going into a double age, because Saturn is the only planet to rule 2 ages side by side. So we've got the fixed cross. These people are solid masters. And then we've got the cardinal cross, which are the grand masters. That's gas. and that's Capricorn opposite Cancer and Libra opposite Aries. So just like in a year of seasons, there are 3 months to each season, and each season has a mutable energy, a fixed energy in the middle of the season. That season becomes fixed, the summer becomes fixed. We're now coming into Leo, and that is the fixed part of the summer, and then we'll move into your part of the summer, which is when things start to get mutable again before we go into the next season. So each season has 3 months, just like we have 3 crosses. Okay, darling, let's go have a look at your stellarium. So here we go. Let's just have a look at what's going on in the sky right now. So we've just got the sun and has just moved into Leo from Cancer, and as I'm talking to you today, this is a very nice sign. We've got this famous combustion of Venus absolutely combust with the sun, and that's why we are living very much a Solomon ritual at the moment, because this is Leo opposite Aquarius, and this is the famous lion gates that are opened to begin this age, but they want to keep us in this south energy. So the sun rules Leo and the moon rules Cancer. We had a black moon, new moon beginning Cancer. We've just had everybody in Cancer, and that energy is always for the month of that Cancer energy, but over this month, everybody, we've got Mercury now becoming visible again. It was very invisible for a long time, and he was retrograde, and he's now moving forward. We've got Mars, which has already come into Leo, and all these guys are all going to move in, and I think that this is going to be the big, it's going to be very hot when we have everybody on this fixed lion energy coming up. We've got, here we go, this is the Twin Peaks, this is the true third eye, Fomalhaut, Aquarius and Capricorn, and this is the age we leave, Pisces, which is your cross and my cross. If you're Virgo, I'm Pisces, so we've got that similar thing going on the mutable cross, and this is where we're leaving, and we're coming into this Twin Peaks here. And at the moment, we've got, so as I talked to you, we've got the moon in Sagittarius, we've got Saturn that has been here for nearly 2 years. He's got another, nearly a year to go in here, and we have Pluto here too. I'll show him to you later, but he's around here. He's been here for 20 years, and we have Jupiter, who is he's still going backwards, but he will be moving forwards. He spends a year in each sign, and next year we have the famous, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because Jupiter that rules Sagittarius and rules Pisces, and this is why the mutable cross is the skull and bones pirate cross, because we have MJ, we have Jupiter ruling Sagittarius and Pisces, and we have Mercury ruling your sign, Virgo and Gemini, and that's the MJ, that is the mutable cross. So Jupiter has been ruling this wheel from the time that God created light in the beginning of the Bible. God created heaven and earth, and since that time, the philosophers have taken over the wheel, meaning Jupiter. So that's why it's so big. Jupiter's had the hold over this past 2,200 years, and we're coming back to that cold contraction, which is the energy of Saturn, and that's why, you know, people who cannot find that middle path, and they stay in this expansion of Jupiter, you need to find the middle, and that's what's going on now. So next year, Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto, the good, the bad and the ugly, will all be in Sagittarius, and Jupiter will be full of party tricks because that's his home and he needs to get as many tricks up his sleeve before Jupiter and Saturn hit Capricorn, which will be the true entry for the Twin Peaks. And classic astrology, they tell us that that conjunction will happen in Aquarius. Either way, it's still in the Twin Peaks, and it's very much the opening and the time that we officially really hit this Twin Peak age. And this is what all the DNA merging is, the Twin Peaks, the series. This is whether we can make turn lead to gold and return here. All the children are ready for this time. That's why they're being so heavily influenced. It's more our generations that might not make it through. So we've also got Uranus at the moment in Aries. He's hidden here somewhere. I think that might actually be just, there he is, Uranus. He just went backwards today. So he was for 7 years, he was in Pisces. So we were all a bit in the fog for the last 7 years. And now we're getting very serious, and this will affect you a lot because you've got your north and south node, the head and the tail of the snake, in Aries Libra. And so he's now going backwards, retrograde. Retrograde always talks about review, everything to do with RE, review, to redo, to go over. And Uranus will be for 6 months going backwards now in Aries before moving forward. So that's just begun. And Neptune is still in Aquarius. He's been there for a long time. And voila, that's all you need to know here. So let's go to you. Let me just check on your 13th of October 1976 in Liverpool. So we're going to put Liverpool. Liverpool, Britain. Add to list. Now we've got it at Liverpool, 1976. And what's that? Is it the 10th at 7 a.m. Okay. 10 and it's the 13th, 7 a.m. Okie dokie, let's go. So, what have we got here? You've got planets in exaltation. Oh, I'm just drinking some of my soup. So, this is the happiest place for the moon to be. This is the black magic woman. This is your emotional body. This is your feminine. This is your mother. And this is the philosophers. This is Merlin here. This is these are the fake temples that they're using. This is the age of Egypt. And this is Taurus is all about your values, your security, feeling safe. And until you find your spiritual value, you guys are money magic. That's why the bull is used in front of Wall Street, and Aldebaran is this fake philosopher's stone. It also represents the labyrinth, because Venus is the ruler of Taurus, and Venus rules Taurus and Libra, and they've inverted it. They tell us that Venus is masculine in Taurus, and they tell us that Venus in Libra is feminine, but this is actually a cow. It's feminine, and this is all that earth magic. This is, for me, Moon in Taurus, we're talking about shamans. And because you're a very earthy sign, we're going to see if you really are Virgo. But this is earth magic. These are the shamans. It's not, you're not going out like me into the invisible realm. You're working with the elements and with earth. But this is great. This is great for making money. And this is, you know, it's great to have the moon. It's his favorite place. Planets have favorite places to be. So you really are considered somebody important to have. You've got actually a couple of planets in exaltation, I think. And this is very good. So you've got Jupiter here as well. So now Jupiter is desire. He is our sacrum chakra. He's lower belt. This is what we need, is to be in the flesh. We need Jupiter. Jupiter is how we expand. It's, you know, everything to do with our desires. So again, this is double money magic, and again tells me of the need of security, feeling safe, having your feet firmly on the ground, and being very much in the flesh and the five senses, in the taste and the touch, and luxury and good food and feeling good and looking after yourself, because Jupiter expands in the sign that he's in, and so he's going to be expanding in this energy of comfort, nature, everything they love, nature. Taurus energy needs nature, and just that good life, good food, living well. Okay, what have we got? That's not okay. We've got Saturn in Cancer, right? So this is not happy. This is Saturn, the planet of restriction, fear. So this is the big enemy of Jupiter. He is the planet that we have to get past our fears. So wherever Saturn is our biggest challenge and what we most need to overcome and to face. So this is high cardinal water. This is all about family, your home, your inner temple. And like Taurus, this is, you know, talking to me very much about your security and feeling safe. This is all about your home. And I'm actually going to read to you I'm going to read to you from my book about Saturn in Cancer, so you can get a feeling of this fear of, and because it's in fall as well, it's important you know. Be thou thine own home, and in thyself dwell. Goodbye, proud world, I'm going home. Thou art not my friend, and I'm not thine. Many of these people dimly remember Atlantis. It's the age of the flood, Cancer. According to the past life readers, who knows? Certainly they act as if they're searching for their lost home, and they're scared of dedicating themselves to a real home now. It might crumble on them as it did so long, long ago. Bums lying out in the rain shake them up. They're terrified of ending up like that. And yet, unless they examine their fears of committing themselves to a home and family, they'll wonder and wonder, sorrowfully visiting other people's homes and families, noses pressed up against the window pane. The wise ones plant their feet on the ground and make a religion out of having a solid base. They know they have high standards to make a dream home, and they aren't afraid to put up with cramped or lonely conditions while they build a base of security for themselves. They fear they don't deserve a beautiful place to live, and they've got to fight this fear continually, or they'll come home to a depressing mess that adds to their feelings of worthlessness. They'll rationalize that they can do without a lovely nest, or life insurance, or a retirement fund, but they'll feel a lot better about themselves if they go after these things. It's a secret, maybe even to them, but they yearn for a daddy figure who will take care of them, even as adults. Shh. Often one of the parents of this Saturn position let the child down badly. Now, you lost your mum, so Cancer represents the mother. She is the true mother. So Saturn in Cancer in full can talk about this, you know, the loss of that basic support. And this is also a representation of Saturn in Cancer. Often one of the parents of the Saturn position let the child down badly. It's usually daddy who undermined their feelings of competence, either by neglect or belittling the child's accomplishments. We'll look at your chart. I know that you loved your dad very much. But so I think it's talking more about the loss of your mother to have Saturn here, but we'll see all that when we get to your chart. They grow up feeling like creeps or jerks. Often they have struggles overcoming self-hate or wanting to get back at daddy. The easiest way to get back at daddy is to screw up their careers. It's curious how many people with their placement of Saturn or Capricorn have emotional problems that get in the way of earning a decent living. More subtly, living on the breadline is also a way of pleasing daddy's expectations. Daddy treated them as jerks, so they'll live up to the prophecy. Nowhere else is it so vital to fight back at Saturn's undermining as in the 4th house. You don't have in 4th house, but whether Saturn be in Cancer or in the 4th house, this is the same energy. The antidote, an all-out, can't bust them to hell and back attitude of I'll show them. This bunch has to make their own feelings of safety. The idea of being chained to the kitchen sink surrounded by screaming babies is a silver dagger in their hearts. Yet they yearn for emotional security. They're fine parents once they've resolved their own feelings of worthlessness, and they're excellent counselors, making their friends into family too. No other position of Saturn is as quick or as kind to offer shelter to the needy. I've yet to meet a male or female with this position who didn't need to act macho in public. They all love to talk baby talk in private, but they won't unless they trust you well. They can't bear to be criticized in public, and they will let you do it only once. What makes these people beautiful is a rare, hard-won integrity that develops over the years. The wise ones don't give a fig about what the world thinks of them, but that's after they've established a place in the world. Only then can they snuggle up, turn their backs on the world, and mean it, without that success to back them up. They're kind, nurturing people, but they're not free of the gnawing hunger for self-love they so richly merit. Okay, we'll be going into all that more deeply. So you've got Saturn, this is your lead to gold. This is the guy we've got to get past. He is the ruler of the Twin Peaks. So your home, your inner temple, being a mother, your relationship with your mother is what we see having this cruel coming to terms with Saturn. But Saturn, Jupiter talks about our youth, and Saturn is, you know, as we come into our old age, we have to have come to terms with Saturn. So I haven't looked at who's retrograde and who's not, but we'll see all that on the chart after. So we've definitely got the Sun in Virgo. So you're not Libra like you thought, you are Virgo. And this is something, and you've got the ruler of Virgo, Mercury, also here, and this is his happiest place to be. Having a sip of soup. He is in exaltation here, so you already have 2 planets in exaltation, and this talks to me about a major shaman, because Virgo, like Taurus, you have Moon in Taurus in exaltation, the black magic woman, and you have in this earth mutable feminine Mercury that rules Virgo here as well. So this is very important you understand. This is Mary Magdalene, this is Notre Dame that has just fallen, this is Carrie, this is the exorcist, this is the presexual adolescent at her most ripe. She is, you see, this is Pesperone, who's taken into the underworld. So this is all about the suffering, and everything happening on earth has been to destroy this forlorn Damoiselle in distress. She is Miss Havisham that never gets married. She is the virgin suicides. This is what Gardasia, the vaccine, is all about. And you will also have Pluto here. Let's have a look. Your unconscious, subconscious, outer planets. And you are part of the generation that are going to hit big time when all the planets, Saturn, Jupiter, have the big conjunction from 2020, the 21st of the 12th. Your next 20 years is for you, the Rosemary's Babies. That film too is depicting that they wanted to kill you guys, that because they don't want you, they're trying to jump generations, and they don't want this wise, holistic, high priestess, the bipolar energy of Virgo, because as I said, all the mutable signs are bipolar, slightly. That's necessary because we are the transmuters, and there is no such thing as death, there is just transmutation. And so you are, we are ending this Virgo Pisces age, and we all had to learn how to transmute. And this is your speciality. Oh my goodness, you've also got Mars here as well. Oh my goodness. And I think you're going to have Uranus here as well. Yeah, you've got a conjunction of Uranus and you are rising Virgo. Let's just check. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. That's the one I wanted to press. So yeah, you're definitely rising Virgo. This is the horizon at the time you were born. Okay, so we've got the chakra personal planets. We've got Mercury. This is your voice. This is the higher chakras. This is, and he's in exaltation. We've got the sun, your solar plexus. The moon and the sun is the solar plexus, and Mars is that bottom red Bunsen burner ego, which is our root chakra. So you've got Mars in Virgo, you've got Jupiter, your desire, in Taurus, both earth, feminine, and then you've got your solar plexus, you've got your sun in Virgo, you've got your moon also in that earth, and then you've got your heart. We have to go see where your heart is. We'll see that in a minute, but for the moment, Venus is here. Oh my goodness, you've got Venus at home. Very good, because Venus rules Taurus and your Venus is at home in Libra. So you will, you see, be able to identify with that Libra energy because you've got Venus here. So this is your heart. And Venus rules the heart and the electromagnetic labyrinth. So this is all very good, my darling, and this is real shaman power. You are really a witch and a healer. So let's just check if that Mars is not retrograde. I'm looking here. You see these little numbers here? Let's just see. 214. He's not. Thank goodness for that, because that can make people rather bipolar and it's rather difficult. So this is, you came to have a big experience of this forlorn damoiselle. But because you've got Mercury in exaltation, and because you've got the sun on this wonderfully artistic, literate, brings great honors and success. You really are going to hit a very good 20 years. Your time is really coming. You have prepared yourself brilliantly. Everything is going to start happening for you. I'll show you a little bit about Spica. I have him open normally. Okay, I've got Sirius open for you, but let's go have a little look at Spica. Sorry, my computer is very slow. Spica, Astrology King. Okay, so this is again one of the brightest stars in the sky. It's you know, on the ear, the wheat of the maiden. This is, you know, how you make your, this is what you've recolted, you've sown, and you're going to recult. It derives from the Latin spica virginis, which means Virgo's ear of grain. It's in the nature of Venus and Mars, and you've got Mars there too. It gives success, renown, riches, a sweet disposition, love of art and science, unscrupulousness, unfruitfulness, and injustice to innocence. Okay, that's on the negative side. You can go read all this. One of the truly great stars in the sky. It's what gave us our word star. And it's nearly as, you know, at least as important as the 4 archangel stars that I showed you. The lonely one. Okay, it's a good star. Okay. Spiritual and religious qualities. High places in those fields. You see, you are a real shaman, darling. Psychic awareness is also above average in such people, especially in the more sensitive planets, Moon, Venus, Neptune, or Lilith. Okay, well, you've got your Moon in exaltation, and you've got Mercury in Virgo too. So again, honors and fame, good fortune for scientists, writers, artists, painters, sculptors, musicians. Okay, if it's on the ascendant, which it is, it promises even to give people of humble origins to enjoy protection, preferment, and even wealth in conjunction with Mercury or Venus and positioned on artistic skills. So you are going to make your wealth, darling. That's what you're doing now. Okay, so let's go see Sun conjunct Spica. Great and lasting preferment, eminent dignity, immense wealth, great happiness to natives, parents and children, help from friends among clergy, favourable for public and legal affairs, if culminating, church and state preferment, if with Venus and Mars, also the native is a potent king obeyed by many people. I'm just going to let my dogs in. Okay, let's get back to you. So this is very good. That's why I wanted to show you. You can come and read this. And let's get back. So you've also got a very visible Mercury. I showed you in the sky before. He's not far off from completely illuminated. So you've got your voice. This is going to give you, so Virgo is this is the world of Mercury. As I said, Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. Mercury in Virgo is all about analytical thinking. In Gemini, it's logic. So it's feminine analytical thinking, and in Gemini, it's logic. You guys are administrators. Now you do have Uranus here as well, and Mars. So Uranus is the shock, electric shock, and chaos. You know, he's a rebel. But with Pluto, Uranus, Mars, Mercury, and Sun in Virgo, and your rising Virgo, we're going very intensely into this energy of this analytical, down to earth. This is the healer, the herbalist, and this is the one who is service to other people. Above all, it's about work, it's about service, and I'm that opposite energy, Pisces, although I too have Uranus here in Pluto, which is more like a big electric shock in the whole of Virgo. But you guys, you will think everything through. You can get very into the mundane. It's very important for you to have a rhythm to your life, to your, your everyday quotidian. You like to have order. You can get very nickety-pickety about things, and you like to put everything into little boxes. You store amazing amounts of information, and you're very scared of my world, which is going right out into the abyss, the opposite sign. It's very scary for you, but you know, it's this, you guys bring it all back into the earth, into the practical. So Mars here talks about experiencing what it is. Mars is not happy in an earth sign. This is our root chakra, our ego, and he's that fiery energy. And when he's here, this talks that you will have known some kind of abuse of men, you know, men abusing this forlorn because of this Mars here, and you've got it right next to it. We'll see. We'll go much more deeply into it when we look at your chart, but definitely you are the absolute Rosemary's Baby, and this is, you know, for me, this is where you are the witch. This is, you know, this is why they wanted to frighten us with Carrie and with Rosemary's Baby and with The Exorcist. It was all about terrifying us of this woman, of you. So that's something for you to really tap into, because it's very difficult, especially on the ascendant, because these people are so nickety-pickety perfectionists. It can make you very unhappy about your basic self, because the first house is what you look like, your personality, and you're carrying Rosemary's Baby right on you. You are this walking forlorn, you know, the woman who doesn't get married, who wipes the feet of Jesus, Mary Magdalene, who's just fallen, as in Notre Dame. So, but don't worry, your time is coming. So your heart is in high cardinal air. Now, as Mercury is in exaltation here, and this is the high cardinal air energy. This is the long lost wisdom. This is the snake on the pole. This is the hidden wisdom. The sun fell here. This is what Lucifer is. Lucifer is because the sun falls, it rises opposite in Aries, and it falls. You've also got the tail of your snake here in Libra. I'll just check that. I think it's you've got the head in Libra. Yep, they do have your Venus right in Libra too. In Libra, yep, super. So they've got everything almost correct here so far. And you have got a conjunction of the head of your snake, Uranus, and I'm going to be explaining that to you. But just to carry on with Venus. So this is Adam and Eve. This is the time when the sun fell here, and the time of we lost Eden. The eagle became a scorpion. The flying snake became, it went onto the floor, onto its belly, and became a scorpion. This used to be the eagle carrying the snake in its claws. And this is, Libra is all about that, finding the balance, the harmony, the peace. And that's what Libras look for, finding justice. So that's going to give you, it takes you up to that high cardinal energy again, like your Cancer. And because Mercury rules Gemini, and this is an air sign, it's going to take you to a whole other level than Virgo, who's in that nickety-pickety little thinking. They can, can be quite naggy, and this Venus is taking your heart. Now, you can be great seductress, you can be very superficial with Venus here. You can get whatever you want, that's for sure. It's going to give you great beauty. But you have gone and found the wisdom. And when people go and find the wisdom, and the fact that you've got your moon in exaltation in Taurus, so Venus rules Taurus and Libra, this is going to, this gives, this is what all your beauty, we've got the high priestess, we've got Venus, we've got Taurus, and This is actually your masculine energy now. This is masculine air. But this gives you that diplomacy, and it gives you that intelligence and that the justice. You may even have been interested in law, but this gives you great articulation and you know, a great sensitivity for the arts, all the art world. These are the artists. This is, you know, I'll be showing you, but this talks about you enjoying doing up your house now. And okay, very nice. You've got that there. So who haven't we seen? Neptune. Okay, and you've got Neptune again in a Scorpio, and he's not far off from Antares. So again, water, feminine, and this again gives you more of that. This is very artistic. This is very psychic. Scorpio is all about deep, intimate relationships, psychology, death and rebirth, sexual transmutation. So Neptune is that planet of our imagination, and it's the planet that takes us closest to God. It takes us, it's our ability to tap into our imagination. So you've got a great imagination. Is your Neptune retrograde? It's not retrograde, so you're not really the daydreamer, but that gives you that depth and that sting and that passion. You may have thought that you thought you were Libra before. Maybe that took you, actually this date took you to Scorpio. You may have thought you were Scorpio, but you do have Neptune there, and not far off Antares. This is one of the Musketeers' fixed stars, so you can go have a look at that. Look up Neptune conjunct to Antares. Okay, let's go and have a look at your chart. Okay, darling, so what I have to tell you about this now as well is that the planets are the actors. They are playing a role in the house, the scene, and they are reading the script of the sign they are in. This is you, but to discover yourself, other people play the roles of the actors, of the planets. And for example, this is going to be the father energy, the sun, the moon, the mother. Mercury is how you travel, how you communicate, children. Pluto is that subconscious. So whenever you're being faced with this, to have Pluto stuck to Mercury, the child, this is, yep, and also with Uranus, so sudden shock. I think you had lost, you lost children, so now these houses, these scenes, you are rising Virgo. You have got, so Mercury that rules Virgo rules your first house, but normally the house is always in the energy of the wheel when it's at its the wheel normally always sets off with Aries, but because of, you're born at that time and you're born in Virgo, so it's in Virgo, but this house is always the energy of Aries. This house is always the energy of Taurus. This house is always the energy of Gemini. So first house is that energy of Aries. And so this is the role that you're playing out on in your life. And this is all about your personality, what you look like, your unconscious reactions, how you react. So we've got a very feisty, original person here. And this last box is normally the Pisces house. So this is the ethereal, the invisible realm. It's and it's very interesting to have. I was saying to you that you don't like, because you're Virgo, you're scared of my realm Pisces, but this is that realm of Pisces, the 12th house. So this again takes you even further to incredible medium abilities. Everything you're doing, going to see mediums and all your dreams, is the house of the unconscious collective, of the dream world, of the abyss. This is the house of Pisces. I've told you all about you, Virgo, but Pisces is all about illusion, deception. It's the energy of I believe. This is the most godly, divine, or in its bipolar energy, it's either the big gangsters, the illusionists, the manipulators. That's why the whole financial system, that's why we've all been asleep in a sleeping beauty dream. And that past 7 years we've just lived, all that new age was pushed through because Uranus was here in Pisces. So you're not so afraid, and you are able to go into this ethereal realm, because Mercury in exaltation here next to your subconscious, Pluto. I have a friend with Pluto here, and you guys are particularly electromagnetic sensitive, but because you're earthy, you're going to be that conductor. You'll be okay. You bring it back down to earth. So you bring the invisible into the practical and into the analytical. You can explain it. This does speak. So, but you're carrying on your personality. So you're going to be somebody, this Uranus electric shock and Mars aggression, to have a conjunction of Mars and Uranus is pretty so that Mars is not actually in Libra. That wouldn't have been so good. Mars is not happy at all in Libra. That Mars is actually well and truly, we saw, let's just double check that he's not already in Libra. No, he's still well and truly in Virgo. He's not in he's very unhappy because Mars rules the opposite sign to Libra, Aries, so all planets are unhappy in the opposite sign. So he's not very happy in Virgo, but in Libra, very difficult to make decisions, not easy either, but it's in Virgo, so this is the only thing they've got wrong here. But, and it won't be quite so conjunct, well, it is conjunct to your Uranus, we saw that. As Uranus, they are absolutely conjunct. So you carry, you must have that reaction. This is you must explode. You must bring your anger out when it comes out. It's, Virgo is never somebody who shows anger like Aries, but it's making an opposition to the sign Aries, and you have the tail of your snake in Aries. So that must come out in sudden, unexpected bursts, and it makes you very unique, very unusual. It's Virgo rising is very analytical, as I said, but to have that amount of planets on your personality must have been very difficult. And, this talks about the death of your mother as well. You see, this is as a very young child. That first house represents that beginning part of our life. Uranus is making a red line to Saturn, which I explained in Cancer, the mother. So sudden shock there with the mother, and also something with your child. You lost a child, I think. So this is, that's telling me all that there, the disappearance. This is also the house of disappearance, loss. But this is all to show you your psychic ability, because this is incredibly powerful. It's making in conjunct here. Wow. And you've got these lovely triangles here pointing to this, and also here, one pointing to Saturn. Okay, so the main houses with stuff going on in your life is this first house. You really are here to find out about your own talents, everything which is that Aries, to be an independent. You are naturally looking, you've got the tail of your snake, so you've come in from a past life already of being a very independent pioneer on your own, but you are being asked to have the confidence to tap into your artistic abilities and your builder pioneer, leader, and this is all going to come into place from 2020. Let's have a look. So you've got, well, they say Mars is in Libra, so he's not, so forget that one. You've only got one planet in detriment, that's Saturn. Otherwise, you've got 2 exaltations and 1 domicile. So this is a very, high-powered person. If we looked at charts to find out who should be the leaders of this world, they would do that by looking to see who has exalted and domiciled planets. I mean, this is talking about somebody with a lot of power, and you're going to start to find out about your gifts, and you're going to start becoming this person. So these houses are empty, no planets, but it doesn't mean that stuff is not happening. For example, your work house, which is normally Virgo here, it actually begins with Saturn. So you do want to go and work in that maternal way, in that psychology, what I was reading to you about Saturn in Cancer, the way you can listen and talk to people. So, and it's, most of that house is in Pisces. So you really are going to have a role of service to other people in the unknown and the invisible, whether you do it more in a shamanic way, is up to you, but you can also, I think that you are a medium, and you're going to start discovering this more and more about yourself when you let go of that desire. So your retrograde planets, let's see, you've got Jupiter retrograde, so you can think outside of the box. As soon as you let go of these security issues, you'll be able to tap into your role, and that this is going to happen. You've got your Chiron here as well. And who else is retrograde? You've only got Jupiter retrograde. Okay, interesting. So you've been able to kind of get into the world. Normally people with lots of retrograde, they have difficulty getting things going, but you've got things going, and this here is just going to, as soon as you get you've built up your security, you found out that you are able to make money, and you've got this Jupiter, it's in the 8th house, working with other people's money. It's normally Scorpio's house, the 8th house, and you really are going to be, you really are going to be a little shaman, darling. Oh, by the way, yeah, I wanted to talk about MC on Sirius. Who was military in your family? Sirius, the dog star. The naming, sparkling, scorching. It's in the nature of Jupiter and Mars. It gives honor, renown, wealth, ardor, faithfulness, devotion, passion, and resentment, and makes it its native custodians, curators, and guardians. It also gives danger of dog bites, blah, blah, blah. So you can go and read all about this in a good aspect with Mars and Jupiter. I'm just checking for you. Okay. So this is well connected Planetary on the ascendant. Sirius can be quite, but you don't have it on the ascendant. You've got it on the MC. Sirius will give a fame. That's on the. This is on the ascendant. That's not you. So it's extensive wealth, lucky hand in commercial enterprise or matters of government. This star so placed is most excellent for military, lawyers, and civil servants. One of your parents may have been military, or in your family, there's some military energy coming in. So Sirius in conjunction with the Sun and well be found to be the case of you. So this is not you. Let's go and have a look at you on the MC. High office under government, giving great profit and reputation. So, darling, this is you. Doesn't have to be government, but that 10th house is how you're perceived by the public. This is your big career, and it's right on Sirius. And you've got Vesta, an asteroid, which is very much the Garda of Mercury, very much in the energy of all that Virgin energy. So this again is telling us that your career is to be, to really tap in now to everything I've been saying about being this healer, witch, and as soon as you come through the forlorn damoiselle, this is going to be your role, and your time is coming. Let's have a look at the transits happening at the moment to see what's going on in your life. Okay, so what's going on? Right, so this is like a major time for you, darling, because when Uranus was here in Pisces, it ended kind of in the beginning of this year. Uranus entered Aries, but this was, you know, your work, everything must have been kind of in a foggy state, finding out about doing all your research, finding out everything, going in, pushing yourself out into this unknown energy, which is this 12th house, which is all my world. And now Uranus for 7 years is coming over your Aries, and it's right now on your tail and head of snake. And this is what I wanted to take you to. Okay, I'm going to let you listen a little bit to this lady. You can go back and find her video on YouTube, or any North Node you can go and see. But she gives you a little introduction at the beginning. The North Node it's the backbone of our guitar. So this is why in the Bible they say there'll be no need for the sun and the moon, because the North and South Node are the hypothetical points of the sun and the moon's passage. So whenever we have an eclipse, it's because the sun and the moon are on that point where the sun and the moon's paths cross and meet each other on the ecliptic. So this has been now become the sun and the tail and the head of the snake. We always come in from a past life, from our south, and you'll keep coming back to earth until you can happily integrate your north. Now, you've got your Mars and your Uranus, and it's caused you a lot of shock and fear because you have lost a child, you've lost your mother, so it's going to be difficult for you to come to this. So this is why we're going to listen to a little bit to her now. But it's funny because this first house is normally the energy of Aries, and this 7th house is normally the energy of Libra. So you do have a natural affinity with that energy, but you are being asked anyway. I'm going to let her explain to you a bit. Let's go straight. So the beginning bit, she explains what North-South node does, and then this bit is you.
Aries South Node, Libra North Node. So as a child, you were probably pretty brash and difficult to control, and you were getting into everything, kind of more on the aggressive side, kind of physical with your siblings, if you had siblings, rambunctious, like you knew what you wanted to do, you would just do it, your parents would be chasing you all over the house trying to control you. In a past life, you were probably something like a soldier, or a pioneer, or a warrior, possibly something in sports, an athlete. You had to use your physical strength and your action to just act instantly. Don't think, just do. Your life depended on it. And often with a South Node in Aries, you get this sense like basic survival is in question. Kind of sleeping with like one eye open kind of thing. South Node Aries can become kind of workaholics, and they don't realize it because they think that that's just life. They think there's no joy so much as it's just like survival mode. There's no time to sit and ponder about your feelings or someone else's feelings, other ways of approaching a situation or thinking about a decision. You just gotta go because there's a hunter after you. another warring tribe, and they're catching up to you. So you better run. But that's all in the past. You're living in peace, and you don't even realize it because inside your head, you're not at peace. This life is about individuality versus relationship. You always think first about yourself. I mean, a warrior has to think about themselves. That's survival mode. So you're very self-centered. Your North Node, which is the path you want to head towards, is focused on other. For you to even understand that there's other ways of thinking is like mind blown. Life is not black and white. That's why I'm wearing the sweater. It's gray. There's a lot of different options for every choice. Also, everyone lives a different lifestyle, and that's cool. There's not just one way to do things. Try to put yourself in other people's shoes. Try to intellectualize before you act. Try to think through, well, if I just hold off and don't get rash and don't have a temper and just breathe and think about it, maybe I don't even need to do something. Maybe the situation's just going to work itself out naturally. Your instinct is to just go, to be like this firecracker that's just going. But what you really need is to learn how to work as a part of a team. Because being the firecracker just doesn't work for you anymore. It makes you madder and sadder and badder. I guess everything that rhymes with that. Remember, there's no easy, fast solutions. Just use patience, because a Libra is very patient. Try to embrace all of these Libra-like qualities. Think about art and romance and beauty and things that don't really factor into just that basic survival mode. It's something higher than that. It's something more refined. You're always going to get further with diplomacy, talking things through, respecting everyone's opinion, than you are by just blowing up and moving the direction you want to move without even looking to see how everyone feels about it. Life is not about right and wrong. It's about understanding. You don't always have to just go in and fix a situation. Sometimes you just have to be the voice of reason. Or maybe you just need to be the shoulder to cry on. You can move mountains by just being silent and listening. You're going to feel so much inner fulfillment and peace by building relationships with people, caring about other people, and being there for them, being sensitive to their emotions. You're really not used to thinking and worrying about what feelings are, trying to make time for art or hobbies or putting your life in balance. When you start that direction, it's going to feel really weird. And you might have to do that whole thing with the temper where you like count, breathe deep and count, because you're going to want to ignite like that engine that just like ignites right away. You're going to have to hold off and okay, whoa, settle down. And I think that's the hardest thing about being an Aries South Node is that moment where you just want to and you have to stop yourself, hold in your reins. You're like a wild beast. It just wants to break out, like a Wolverine. South Node Aries have so much physical strength and physical courage. They're willing to get in there and brawl. But what they really need to learn is self-sacrifice. To get where you want to get to, which is to feel inner peace and love, you can't be putting yourself first. And just because you win, winning, you're not going to win. It's just not going to happen. So if I haven't convinced you of why to go towards your North Node yet, because I know you guys are very stubborn, then think about this. A lot of people ask about love in regards to astrology. And actually, South Node and North Node have so much to do with this because you can never really be open-minded to your soulmate if you are still in your South Node. Why is that? Well, because you know how they say in order to love someone else, you have to love yourself? This is the whole problem with being stuck in your South Node, is that you're tormented, you're just going to add that onto somebody else's life. And the right person for you isn't going to know where you are, who you are, or whatever until you start to become who you're supposed to be. That makes sense, right? It's like putting out the signal for your soulmate. In addition to your own inner happiness, well-being, you're actually going to feel healthier and more balanced. Not to mention, life is going to be exciting all of a sudden. Whoa, new horizons. I had no idea. This is crazy. You're going to feel like you're firing on all cylinders. Instead of going left, you're going to make that decision for the first time in lifetimes to just divert and go right. And that's very exciting. I think it is. Some examples of South Node, Aries, North Node, Libra, Simon Cowell, Madonna, Al Pacino, Bruce Lee, Tina Turner, Shakira, just fiery people. So remember, don't worry about that. That's going to go away if you start considering everyone's feelings, because it's never going to go away. It's within you so strongly that it never will leave you, no matter what. But by heading towards your North Node, you're going to find a whole new way to approach life that is going to be so much more exciting. All right, guys, thanks for being here, and come back for the next North Node, South Node.
Okay, darling. So that's very important, and I let somebody else say it so that you really pick up. And what's happening right now is that Uranus is in that Aries energy. So you're going to be really tapping into your South Node, feeling very happy about your job and running your own life and all the things that Uranus shows us, discovering your profound I am. But it's making an opposition, and this incredible line is getting hit off. And this is, you can have your temper, and Uranus is about to go backwards. It's gone over your North Node, and it's going to go back over. So you're going to go through this review time of whatever's been going on, how you behaved. There must have been some blow-ups. You're really facing your personality at the moment. But I like, for example, you decorating your house. There's certainly some pioneer building. You must be great with property, decorating. And this is a way to tap into that North Node, and you have some extraordinary artistic talents. This sun is on Spica, it's the artist. And even if you don't use this, and as she was saying, going towards the other people, this is about marriage, harmony, the diplomat, it's what I said, law, and it's also, as I said, about art, as she said. And you've got some exceptional, revolutionary, visionary ways. So either to develop some kind of, working with plastics, arts, working with that's very manual, Virgo, and this energy of this house is the builder. So you're learning about your North Node with, redoing all your house, your kitchen, and this is all showing you who you are and your talents. So it's very important. Now, what else have we got going on here? Yeah, so we've also got, you are ending an 18-year cycle because you have got, at the moment, your 10th house is set off by Gemini, so Mercury rules this career area, and it's on Sirius, and that this North Node, the head and tail of snake, is where it was for 9/11. That's why we've had 9/11, and now Notre Dame, Jack and Jill, fell down, and this is the representing our caduceus and our DNA. So these guys are here for 18 months. They've got another year here, and it's actually, they've gone over, they've already come over here, but this is all setting off your career. And then they will move in another year into Taurus, and this is when you will really begin to find those shamanic abilities and tap in more and more into your medium ability. And then that is really going to set off when everybody goes into, here they all are, I showed you, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. Next year, they're all here in Sagittarius. So more philosophy, more finding out about yourself, even travel. You either travel physically or within the fire of your mind. So you could even take up some more studies. You could go back to education next year. You could go and learn something. But when all these guys hit at the end of 2020, Capricorn, so there's going to be, really taking the power within your temple. This is your home. This is normally the place of Cancer. So Saturn rules these twin peaks. This is going to be really the hitting off of you tapping in to your Virgo, Taurus, shaman, healing abilities, and this North Node as well. Your time is coming big time when everybody comes here at the end of 2020. Okay, darling. Obviously, look, as I talk to you, Pallas is right conjunct on Spica and your sun. So that's me talking to you now, telling you about that Spica and about your chart. And yeah, so I hope you've been able to soak all this in. There's always so much more to say. Astrology is like a telescope. You can bring it in and out and go into the layers. There's so much that we can see all the time. But this is just a basic introduction to you of you and your musical instrument, darling. Okay, sending all my love. Bye, darling.